Oh, hello there! Welcome! Get cozy! How's everyone been doing? For me, it's been good. I'm finally not sick anymore. Other than that, I've been watching some series while working, which you read the title. It included Sonic Prime. And well, I like Sonic Prime. I know, very controversial opinion in Sonic Twitter, but I mean, when is anything on Sonic Twitter not controversial? Just made a checkmate there. And you know, I have a lot of thoughts in this show. Full on brain rot. I honestly love some directions they took. But I never realized I could talk about them. Until a fateful day. It's a normal Wednesday afternoon, I got my cup of tea and ping! A notification from every fan's favorite place, Tumblr. Someone had just asked me about my opinions on Sonic Prime. You can imagine how well that went. I basically info-dumped this person about my opinions on the show. Good thing that they said they were cool with me not holding back. Aside for the embarrassing long text, I wrote and posted the day went on normally. Until I remembered, wait! And here we are. Today I'm info-dumping you all with my thoughts as a Sonic the Hedgehog enjoyer and artist about Sonic Prime. But first, let me be annoying for a minute and ask, have you subbed yet? If you have, then here, have this golden star. If not, like, what are you waiting for? I draw and talk about a bunch of stuff which I think are interesting, and sometimes I draw your Z's, so politely tap the subscribe button since we can be feral but civilized here. Done? Cool! So, Sonic Prime. Overall, I think this series is pretty well done. I like it. It has a lot of strengths and some downsides which I'll be addressing as I go on. I'll be talking about 3 main points: animation, characters, and design. Starting with animation. I think they went full cartoony on it and nailed the look. I like it very much, though at first I thought and I found it pretty jarring that Sonic was bonking his head on every place, but now I get it. They went for a more comedic and cartoony approach, and that's fine. I personally wanted something more, well, grounded? I'm not sure if I'm using the correct word, but I don't like using serious to describe Sonic X. But like, yeah, Sonic X took itself kinda serious when it needed to. Either way, it was clear that it wasn't how this series was formatted, and that's fine. But I will still stand in my opinion that Sonic X is a great series. I know a lot of people don't like it because the music or the animation or maybe characters, but like, in my opinion, which you are totally free to disagree, X had a special charm, and it had the courage to tell its story without holding back. The Meteor X saga is one of my favorite Sonic storylines. It is the first time I actually cried over a series. Granted, that was a while ago and that list has expanded quite a lot, but the sentiment is still holds on. Back to Prime's animation. Something I really like is that the characters are very bouncy, and adding some reference to other games in some action sequences is pretty neat. Oh, and pretty interesting point, the smear frames, by their own, comedy gold, but while played in a sequence, God, the animation looks so smooth. I'm not an animation expert, by no means, but adding those smear frames just add the extra movement that most CGI animations do not have. That was one of my biggest concerns, that the show ended up looking stiff, so thank you Prime team for hearing my prayers. That just shows that the team was putting some love into the show. Which, speaking of love, the cast. This is kind of a hot take of mine, but I think everyone was handled great, except for one important character, Sonic, which upsets me so much. But here, let me explain. In my interpretation from various Sonic media, Sonic didn't need to learn that he needs to listen to his friends. He already does in the games and in the comics. Which, okay, there's an easy explanation and theory for this change. Marketing. Sonic in this show feels like a self-insert for little kids because I think Prime Sonic was dulled down a lot. There's this meme I saw where Shadow tells Sonic not to do something, Sonic does it, and comes back crying to him. And sadly, that's pretty accurate to this series. Little bit of spoilers here, so skip to this timestamp to avoid them. Throughout the series, Shadow repeatedly tells Sonic not to trust 9, but he does it anyways, and then, oh wow, so shockingly gets betrayed. Like, dude, how dense are you? But I get it. Most people say cartoons are for kids, which I highly disagree with. But that could have been the argument made that made Prime Sonic like that. But except from Sonic, I think everyone is very in character. Like, finally, some justice for Shadow and Rouge. They were the highlight of the show for me. Them along 9, like, oh my god, 9, that scrunkly little guy. Edgy Tales is not something I thought would exist in canon, but like, I'm not complaining. Though 9 is kind of a problem with the narrative because it stems from Sonic's character flaw. A solution I've been tinkering for that dilemma is that Sonic, instead of not hearing his friends, is not relying on them as much as he should. I don't know, I'm still thinking about it. Though, to wrap up this section, let's all thank the voice actors, because I got zero complaints there, they all did such an amazing job. As well as the artists involved with the show. We don't talk about that much, but we should. The visual elements aside from the animation, I'm talking character designs and backgrounds, are very, very well done. I'm especially stoked with New York's layout. I'm not sure if they did, but I think they designed the whole map with how concise they are at times. Oh, and one detail that not many get is that they assign specifically a color for each Shadowverse. That sounds more simple than it is, because each world has one predominant color that makes them distinct. And then there's Green Hill, who has them all. It's such a neat little detail I picked up and it hasn't left my brain. Speaking of concept art, on another note, I just saw again the concept art for Prime that was leaked a while ago, I think. And like, the design of the cast has changed a lot. Like 9 here had actually 9 natural tails. How about that? It's just in general, you can see the work and effort that went into this show. And I honestly don't think that it deserves the hate that it's been getting. Yeah, it has flaws, but honestly, tell me one video game adaptation or just series that is perfect. I'll wait. Like, honestly, my only complaint is that Sonic doesn't feel like the Sonic I grew up with. But that same criticism goes to the Sonic movies. Which, side tangent, they better play Live and Learn in the 3rd movie. If they don't, I will probably still be going to see it. What can I say? I'm a Sonic nerd, proudly. And to all my Sonic Enjoyer homies, please do let me know your thoughts in the comments. What do you think of Sonic Prime? Do you love it? Do you hate it? And why? I'm actually very curious on why people don't like it. And while you're there, since you stuck in this video, why not give it a like? That will help me a lot and you will get more art and overly long breakdowns on Sonic media and other stuff too. Oh, and funny clips like this one, where I accidentally quit Clip Studio while recording the time-lapse.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because...
You can truly see the despair that went through me, who didn't remember if I saved. Either way, I have been Akari-san. Thank you for watching till the end. Hope your brain didn't explode with all the nerdiness. Keep drawing and stay rad. Bye bye! Like, how does it feel, Sonato Nation, to have an entire show for the ship? Like, this is the most enemies to lovers show I've ever seen. Isn't it nice to be fed content?